Hey, New Life. My name's Brett Davis. I'm the associate pastor at New Life Friday Night. And have you ever considered how strange Christian Holy Week is? It's really bizarre when you stop and think about it. Our holiest celebration is celebrating corrupt government officials and local leaders lynching an innocent man. It's the moment in time when the swamp of the status quo of the government won. It's the moment in time when the revolution of the kingdom of God, it arrived and it ended in the same week. It's a week that literally ends with people sequestered in their homes in social isolation, all alone and without hope on Holy Saturday. That is this week. This week, that millions, untold millions of Christians across the centuries have hailed as holy. And it actually really encourages me how bizarre Holy Week is, the bizarreness of it, the depth of how much it hurts. Because our holiest week as Christians, it actually emerges out of crisis and catastrophe. That's really good news. We're often really quick to describe the cross as holy or hopeful or beautiful or powerful. But the people who saw the cross at first, they didn't think that it was powerful in any other way other than like a nuclear bomb going off is powerful. Or like coronavirus is powerful, or like an act of terror is powerful. That's exactly what the cross was. The cross was an act of terror. It was an act of state-sponsored terrorism. Before the cross was anything else, we need to let the strangeness of Holy Week sink in. Before the cross was anything else, before there were majestic worship songs sung about it, before there were grand atonement theories to think about, before we recognized divine love on display or the salvation of the world finally arriving, the cross, in the words of one pastor, the cross was a catastrophe. It was a catastrophe. It was the world falling apart. It was hopes dashed. It was expectations shattered. It was years of good people's hard work unraveling in a handful of hours. It was darkness over all the land when there should have been light. There was nothing good about Good Friday on Good Friday. Holy Week, it climaxes and people alone in their houses, without hope and desperately afraid. We often don't think about the cross as a catastrophe, do we? But this wasn't lost on the early church. In the sermons of Peter and Paul in the book of Acts, in Acts 3 or Acts 5 or Acts 13, they're very careful with their words. God, according to them, God didn't kill Jesus. You killed Jesus. You men, you of Jerusalem, human beings killed Jesus, and God raised him from the dead. God didn't cause the catastrophe of the cross. God endured the catastrophe of the cross. God wasn't inflicting evil. God was bearing evil. It's a bit like the closing words of the book of Genesis on the lips of Joseph. Joseph says, "What you meant for evil, God meant for good." So this week, this bizarre week, it's so strange, but this Holy Week of ours, this week is holy because we remember that we worship the God of Easter, the God who climbs into catastrophe in order to transform it. It's really good news. God gathers in all of our brokenness and sin into himself. He endures hatred and violence. He sees catastrophe and he enters into it. And now we wear crosses on our necks. May that give you hope in the way that it's giving me hope this season. May this God give you hope. Our God is faithful. He literally doesn't know how to be unfaithful. Hard work is not lost forever. God gives us daily bread. And the best things in life, we're learning, they really are free. Even global crises and devastating catastrophes, everything gets divinely possessed by the God of infinite goodness and transformed. In the words of Romans 8, God causes all things to work together for the good of those that he calls. And here's the gospel, my friends. He calls you. You're included in this. The good news includes you, and so wait patiently during this season. Grieve deeply. Lament what is truly awful, and it's truly awful. But hope, too. Hope. This is Holy Week, and we worship the God of Easter. Grace and peace, friends.